If you look to your left, just about the street level, you can see a yellow sign with black numbers on the inside. Now the purpose of signs let the passenger boat captains know what the overall depth of the river is based on arbitrary zero mark. Now, lowest ever recorded stage happened back in 1940. That was a stage about -6.1. And the highest happened back in 1993 during a great flood, a stage about 49.9 feet. To give you an idea just how high that was, the water made to the 33rd step on the arch grounds are to the left. That's about halfway up that stairwell. Stage the pack that 33rd step, which shows you where the water topped off. Today we have a stage about 18.3 and falling. That's going to put about 33 feet of water underneath Tom Sawyer right now. Our currents move about 6 miles an hour. That's about 3 miles above the average speed. Now looking over to your left, just between our docks here, you can see there's our parking lot. Now most of our parking lot is underwater still. It's about maybe 12 to 20 feet of water over the top of that parking lot today. Now the risk forecast to keep falling over the next few weeks, and probably by the end of the month we'll see the rest of that parking lot. Now it does need to be cleaned up a little bit because there's a little debris out there, such as the mud and the logs. And the St. Louis City will come down with their bulldozers and trucks and move all that stuff out and wash away some of that mud. The dock to our left belongs to the Gateway Helicopter Tours. They have helicopter rides around the St. Louis area 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to about sunset. The tours are about 5 to 15 minutes long, and they cost between $48 to about $190. Looking over to your left, you can see just about the street level statue. It's a statue of Lewis and Clark. The statue weighs about 2.5 tons, stands about 23 feet tall. It was dedicated back in September 2006 to celebrate the bicentennial of the Lewis and Clark return to St. Louis. The bridge ahead of us is known as the Eads Bridge. It was designed and built by a famous engineer by the name James Buchanan Eads. Built at a cost of about $6 million. It was the first railroad link to cross the east and the west here in St. Louis. Prior to its building, our rail traveled through Eastern Bank and be ferried across to the Western Bank by the Wiggins Ferry Company. As well as its architectural beauty historical past, this bridge is now classified as an historical site. Construction of the bridge began back in 1864 and was completed on June 14th of 1874. It is over 140 years old and is still in use today. As it near completion, there are a lot of engineers told Mr. Eads' bridge is unstable and that will fall down at first load of traffic. They also told Mr. Eads' bridge is built upside down. Now they never seen a bridge built like this before, and they had no proof to prove that it could support its own weight or the way the track travel back course across. On his open day, July 4th of 1874, Mr. Eads hired 17 locomotives and 1 elephant to go back first across the bridge to prove stability. As you can see, it survived that test, and also survived the test of time, as the bridge is still standing in use today. And they just refurbished the bridge. They painted the superstructure, replaced some rail deck, and also did some road work to the top deck. That project cost about $36 million. Now the lower rail section is now used for a light rail system known as Metrolink. You may have just seen that Metrolink car go across the bridge. bridge off to our left, we have an area known as Queen's Landing. For you to get a good idea what St. Louis looked like about 100 years ago, this would be a good place to start. Most of these buildings date back to about the late 1800s, early 1900s. Some have been renovated previously prior to 1935. Inside the land you find anything such as nightclubs, bars, restaurants, and shops. Now right behind the Queen's Landing to your left, you can also see a large dome building. That is the Dome at America Center. Placed here back in 1995, and it can seat about 70,000. Now one time it was called the Edward Jones Dome. That was home to the St. Louis football Rams. Now you may remember the Rams left St. Louis a few years ago to go back to Los Angeles, and a lot of fans from St. Louis found out what the NFL really stood for, which meant not for long. Now the dome was also used a few weeks ago for the gymnastics tournament or championship. The next bridge we have above our heads is known as the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Highway Bridge. This formerly known as Veterans Bridge dates back to about 1951. Until 1843, this location of the bridge marked the normal boundary of St. Louis, as was mapped out by our city's founder, Pierre back in 1764. This bridge is what we call a cantilever-style bridge, and it does expand from 4,010 feet. Now we have three objects here to our left that are standing in the water. These are called mooring sails or dolphins. These are used to tie boats out to. And the ones known as dock here to our left, which stopped for the former excursion boat and casino, the Admiral. That closed back in 2010. Now they have built another casino to replace it. On top of the hill to the left, you can see the Lumiere Casino. This casino was built with these two hotels attached to it. They built a small shopping mall inside of it. And there's also a tunnel that goes from the casino over to the Dome at America Center. By Missouri state law, all casinos have to be floating in river water. The casino on the hill is no exception. Now what they did was they dug a large basin on top of that hill, then they filled that basin with river water and placed a casino inside of it. And the word for today is called a loophole.
Pretty old thing.
Look off to your right here in front of us, you'll see a little green object floating in the water. It's what we call a navigational marker or buoy. Now these are placed here by the United States Coast Guard to mark the channel. As you make your way up the river, you want to keep the red ones on your right hand side and the green on your left. Now staying between the two buoys, that means you're in the main channel, and it should be about maybe 9 feet deep and about 300 foot wide. Now this buoy off to our right is off station. Now we did have some real high water over the last couple of weeks and a lot of debris floating down the river, and it knocked that buoy off station up north, so it floated down to this point where it just got hung up somewhere. Now later the Coast Guard will probably come up here about a week or so to remove that buoy and put it back on station.
Union Height. Oh.
to
I
the left,
would,
we have
but you
the
can.
William H. Ashley Power Plant, placed here back in 1902 to supply electricity in 1904 World's Fair. That World's Fair is held in the city of St. Louis on the city's west side in nearby Forest Park. That's about 6 miles off to our west. This fair was credited in First Lighted Fair. It was also credited other first, such as first ice cream cone, first hot dog, and first glass of iced tea ever served to American public. The station does still produce electricity and also produces steam. That steam is usually built downtown St. Louis. At the World's Fair in 1904, we also had the world's largest Ferris wheel. That Ferris wheel stood about 264 feet tall, had about 60 cars on it, and each car could hold